this is how to draw 4-55R, the exhaust port flange. This one involves both revolves and extrudes and shows you how to use the mirror command. First, we're going to start by drawing center lines at the origin going vertically and horizontally to the right. I'm in Onshape. I'm going to put my sketch on the front plane. Hide my other planes. And draw my center lines from the origin going up and the origin going to the right. I want to use the center line option because that will allow me to do diameter dimensions. When I'm dimensioning, it'll save me a little time with doing the math. I'll change these to regular lines later when we're done. So then we're going to work on drawing and dimensioning the large circle and arc around the outside of that circle. We see the large circle is 2.75 in diameter, and the large arc is a radius of 2. So that circle is going to be somewhere on this horizontal line. Make sure don't snap it to the midpoint. And we set it as a diameter of 2.75. And there is an arc that went around the outside of it. That was a radius of 2. So I can use the center point arc for that. Click my center point and click where I want the arc to start. I'm going to start somewhere beyond to the left of the top quadrant and go kind of somewhere beyond to the left of the bottom quadrant. We don't really care how far beyond we go because we'll dimension that later. And we said that was a radius of 2. Now the circle is 3.38 apart. And so I can use my diameter feature when I dimension that, so I don't have to do the math. So dimension from the center of the circle to the center line, and if I stay on this side of the line, it gives me half the distance. If I hover past the line, I get the full distance. So 3.38. Now I want to draw the outer circle and the arc that goes with that. We see the outer circle is a 0.75 diameter. It says a depth of 0.9, which we'll use later when we're doing the three-dimensional stuff. So it has a diameter of 0.75, and the arc around the outside is a radius of 1. So I know there's a circle somewhere out here. It is a diameter of 0.75. And then there's another arc. I can use the center point arc tool again and basically draw the exact same arc as I did before. Sweep it from far left all the way around back to the left side again. And we said that has a radius of 1. And the distance from center of small circle to center of small circle on the other side is 7.5. So dimension from center of small circle to center line and drag past the center line, I get my diameter feature again, and this was 7.5. It's okay that the two circles intersect. We really only need the top portion, so we can go ahead and trim off the bottom, which we'll do in just a minute after I have this top circle done. So now I want to do the same thing on the top circle. I see it's 0.75. This radius is 1.12. Circle somewhere on the vertical line, making sure not to snap to a midpoint or any endpoints. I can set it equal to my other circle. And then we use my center arc tool to basically sweep a similar arc, making sure just to go beyond my center and not to attach it to anything on the other arc. I can go beyond center again. And that was 1.12. I see the vertical circles are 3.5 apart, so I'll dimension that. Center of circle to a horizontal center line and go past center line, so I get a diameter option and 3.5. Again, I don't care if the lines intersect, I'll trim it just a little bit. Now I want to create these little curves. One is 1.12 and one is a 0.5. These are called fillets. And you could do this with the arc tool, and I'll show you how to do it using the arc tool first, and then I'll show you how to use the fillet tool to do it. So we'll do this first one at 1.12. So I could draw a 3-point arc because I know it goes from somewhere on this curve to somewhere on the curve to the right, bends in, and I know it's tangent to both surfaces. Tangent to curve, tangent to curve, dimension a radius of 1.12. So I could do it that way, but I'll need to go ahead and trim these pieces off on the inside after I'm done. I don't want to keep them. So instead of using that, I can experiment with the fillet tool. Here's the fillet tool, sketch fillet method. Basically, if I hover, it's a click and drag the corners between the curves and dimension. So I click the tool, I click where I want the curve to start approximately on this surface. I want it to go to this surface, and I want it to be a size of 1.12. I need to click on the number or double click it to change it to 1.12, enter. And it trims off all the material behind the circle, the arcs, since I use the arc tool, which is a good thing because we would have to trim that off later. I can do the same thing here. So I'm going to click fillet again. I unselected it to turn off the 1.12 size. So I want to go from somewhere on this curve to somewhere on this curve. Now it's going to trim off the bottom portion of it because I selected on the top. If I would have selected on the inside here, it would trim off the outside. So I can adjust the size of it as needed. Double click the number, 0.5, enter, and it trims the part I don't want. So I can see all this is black, so I know it's completely constrained. Let's go back and double check our dimensions, any features I want. All right. So now I'm going to drag these lines beyond the edge of my shape, trim off this bottom portion, and change these lines to solid. Because I used the dimension feature previously, I don't lose that before I change the lines over. This is why we started with the lines being center lines instead of solid lines. Trim off this little portion over here. The lines we can leave longer than we need it to be because they won't interfere with anything. Now to create my shape, I'm going to practice using the mirror tool to mirror the top curve down to the bottom. So here's our mirror tool. It says mirror, select our mirror line. We're going to mirror the top, so we're going to mirror horizontally. So I select that line first. Now it says select entities to be mirrored. Now I'm going to click all my curves. And if I'm done, I can just right click or hit enter or escape mirror. I want to draw this line farther down to close off the rest of my shape. And so I can just draw a line point to point. I forgot to mirror this circle down here. So when you go back, if you want, you can Control Z a few steps and make sure to select the mirror, or I'm just going to draw the circle in. Set it equal to my other ones. And I see that this has a point that's 3.5 away where I know that circle needs to be. So I can actually drag the center of that circle up and snap it into place. Now I can see that those two are concentric. All right, now I have a completely closed shape on the side here. I want to revolve the solid side 180 degrees to the left without selecting the small circles. So revolve. It doesn't know what to revolve, so I'm going to unselect my features and I'm going to click inside just the shapes. Making sure to revolve the parts inside. What I don't want to revolve is this piece in here. So let me click my revolve axis, which is the center line vertically. And I get a flying saucer. I don't want to go full. I want to go one direction and go 180. Remember, you can hit tab to confirm without actually committing to it, so I can kind of see what I want. And I would, if I clicked on certain portions wrong, I can go back and unselect them if needed, but I don't want to have a little sphere in there. So I want those selected. If I didn't select this one here, you could see it would revolve a hole behind there, and I don't want that, so I want to keep that. The part I do want to revolve is this full empty circle space here where I can kind of see through that it passes through the object. If I like that, I say okay. And now I need to just extrude those 4 circles we had left over. And if I go back and look at my drawing, it says a depth, the little down arrow with a line means depth of 0.9. So to get to my previous sketch, I can say show sketch. I'm going to say extrude. I want to do a remove. And I'm going to do these in 2 separate operations so I can then mirror this over there, practicing the mirror tool. So I'll do the top and bottom circles since they exist. 0.9. All right. And then I'm going to do this one and mirror that feature across the line. Remove 0.9. All right, that looks right. And now I can use the mirror feature allows me to mirror across a feature. So mirror, I want to mirror a feature, not a part, or I could do a face. If I click face, I can click the inside of the circle. If I do a feature, I have to click the extrude. So I want to mirror this previous extrusion I did for the circle. My mirror plane would be the plane that splits the object in half this way, which I have to find out which plane that is. It looks like it would be the right plane as I roll over them from my menu. If I click the right plane as my mirror plane, you can see it kind of solves it automatically if I like it, or I can hit tab to confirm. And if that looks right, I can select the green check to save it. All right. So it looks like we did it right. Let's check our volume of our part. It looks like it's 61.573. That looks right. To turn this in, I want to create a section view so I can remove the right side showing the dimensions. Click out of my part menu here. And so to create a section view, I can say section view, select my section plane. Let's click the right plane. And I can see the inside of it now internally. What I want to look for is to make sure there's no circle being removed all the way through my object up here. And if I like that, I can click OK. And then if I want to show my dimensions, I can always turn on the dimensions on my sketch. And this is the view I'd like turned in your notebook. This way I can see that my lines are locked in place because they're black and constrained, and I can see it's revolved correctly.